Hi, it's time for good energy, and I'm Dr. Julie, and welcome to Bodyful Day 128. Today we're talking about attention and the senses. This is day 3 of our series, and today we're talking about taste. And we're focusing on searching for the right bite. All right, let's start with the basics. Take a deep breath in and release. Expand, 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 and tuck. Deep breath in. And release. And think about anything that's going on. Think about where you can feel it in your body. And when you take this breath in, breathe into that location. Take a deep breath in. And release. All right, so I am out on the back step of yet another place. We are working our way back to our house. And so today we're talking about attention, the senses, and the taste. We're all focusing on healing, the energy to be attentive, to attend to your task equals good energy and minus stressors. And we've talked about hearing, we've talked about sight. Today we're going to talk about taste. And today's underlining this theme, searching for the right bite, really does play a role in attention. So energy to attend to something. We're going to talk about the stressor of it first, and then we'll talk about the good energy. And when you are searching for the right bite, or you've sat down in the afternoon to do some work and you need something that fills a space, because what you're sitting down to do is a stressor. Or right now you just don't have enough attention to do what you're doing. So either something that you're sitting down to do is a stressor, or you've not had enough sleep, or you are running through that time of the month and your hormones are a little off, and so you focus because there's a nagging sensation, whether in your mouth, in your gut, that you need something. And so try as you may to focus on your task, there is this little niggling, you need something. You need a crunch, you need a sweet, you need a salt, you need a bitter, you need a spice, you need something. Lots of times we don't go towards spice, we go towards the basic, salt and sugar. And that can be really hard to find that right bite, because salt and sugar balance in your body is so on a knife edge. If you eat too much sugar, then you want the salt. If you eat too much salt, then you need a lot to drink. And so we're always riding a knife edge with those flavors. So what do you do when you are looking for just the right bite? Because the problem is, once that starts, being able to stay focused on your task becomes even harder, because you've kind of started to run that edge where you're like, I had some sweet, but I feel like I need something else. And so you try to sit down and do your task. If I just stay focused, if I just have this big glass of water and stay focused, I can get through it. And you're partway through and you're like, no, I need something. My mouth needs something. What you can do is you can look for things that are out of your craving. Look for things that are not sweet, not salt. A lot of times we don't crave bitter. So maybe look for lemon or lime or something on the sour, bitter spectrum where your body's just like, oh, now that was different. You can also look on the spice heat area. So cinnamon, ginger, cayenne, paprika, something like that. And even if it's just something as simple as a piece of toast with some spice on it, can sometimes be just enough to kind of go, woo, I'm good. and I can get back to focusing. So if you get stuck in that rut where you cannot focus because you're switching back and forth between salty, sweet, or crunchy and bland, or you're looking for that next bite, switch tactics. Look for something that is not consistent with your normal cravings. Look for something to kind of reset the system so that you can go back and focus. And interestingly, whatever you look to reset is actually going to be your good energy in. Think about it, and you can go back to your breathing. Would bitter be good? Would sour be good? Would spicy be good? Would hot be good? Would cold be good? Sometimes cold is a really easy way to reset the system. Get out some ice cubes and just work on ice cubes. Put them in small bits and put them in your mouth. If you've got teeth that can handle it, you can crunch up the ice. That will give you the crunchy, the cold, and it might just reset your system fast enough. So when you're looking for the right bite, shift and say, well, I'm looking for salty, sweet, or crunchy, but what if I changed tactics and used my breath or used my nervous system to say, what is the thing that I need right now? Do I need an herb? Do I need a spice? Do I need a tea? Do I need something cold? And the part of the reason that you're sitting over here in the salty, sweet world is that you haven't looked in the alternative world when there is something that is really nervous system calming in your other taste modalities. Now, what can we do about getting good energy in to help you focus? Well, so we talked about the distractors, the stressors, and we did a little bit talk about focusing. But let's kind of see what kind of things can throw you off with focus. What can throw you off with focus is that your nervous system is a little wired, or your gut is a little wired, or your skin is itchy, or think about where these things are coming from, and then you can figure out what taste to put in there. If you're a little anxious, anxiety is really correlated with elevated levels of fungus and elevated levels of candida in the body. So if you've got high anxiety and that's distracting you, you might look to heating spices like cinnamon, cardamom, allspice, black pepper, nutmeg, mace, all of these things that are heat drying spices. And heat drying spices have a tendency to dry you out and heat you up, which is exactly when you think about having like mold in your basement. You want to heat and you want to dry. You want a dehumidifier that pumps out a lot of heat, and that takes care of that underlying moisture issue. Does the same thing in your gut. You want heat, dry. So those spices will heat and dry your gut, which means that the candida levels in your gut will actually go down. If you are struggling with attention because your nervous system is a little bit on the edge, then you can look for what we call adaptogens. Adaptogens, I mentioned them early. I mentioned them in a different video, but adaptogens are herbs and spices that calm the system down. Ashwagandha is a very common adaptogen. Holy basil is a common adaptogen. Things that even if you're wired or if you're too tired, they help push your adrenals one way or another, which then help you focus. So look for adaptogenic or adaptogens, adaptogenic herbs when you're looking for ways to calm down because you're not focused. Something is irritating you elsewhere. Sometimes in terms of taste, we're looking for something to get us going and get us pepped up. And so a lot of that can be things like mint and anything that's got just a little bit of a kick to it. Mint and spice actually is really good to just kind of get you back going, especially if you're tired. And sometimes you can find those in small units. You can do a tea. You can do something like Altoids, which are curiously minty or overly minty, whatever, spicy. I can't remember the term is, what their slogan is, but that works as well. All right, so we have this concept that taste can be both distracting to your attention and it can be both helpful to your tension. Hopefully these two components will help you next time you're searching for the right bite. All right, let's finish it off. Take a deep breath in and release. All right, have a great day. I will see you tomorrow.